Hi everyone and welcome back. So I am back with another LinkedIn hot tip and trick. I just discovered this and I am super excited because had I known about this before, I would have completely relied on this and it would have really changed my searching. I think it's going to change my searching as a recruiter potentially, even though I'm not actively recruiting myself. But I think it's really exciting. I think it's going to be helpful for a lot of you who are looking for referrals, looking to make connection. So I want to take us back to the example of my personal example when I moved to San Francisco and 2 years later I was feeling very homesick. So as you might recall in a previous video, I referenced how you could search through your alumni network in your locality to build connection and meaningful connection. Well, I've just found a way to do this in a much more user-friendly way and in a way that is really more open to experimentation and in ways where you can go far more in depth. And I think it's really visual as well. So rather than just talk about it, I'm just going to dive right in and I am going to show you. So let's go to my university, Dublin City University down here. Here we go. So when you click on your university page, it's going to take you to their home page. So you can see I'm following them. There are 2,700 employees, 6 alumni that I am connected with work in San Francisco. There are over 5,000 alumni who graduated in the same year as me. So this at like the highlight level is really helpful. But what just unlocks tons of potential within LinkedIn is this alumni tab here. So as you can see, there are over 63,000 alumni of DCU on the LinkedIn network in its entirety. And what's awesome about LinkedIn is they take that network and they provide you with some really rich search insights. So of the 63,000 alumni, over 2/3 are in Ireland, and then United Kingdom and the United States are the top locations after that. We can see where they work, so a good chunk are actually in DCU. AIB is a bank in Ireland, as is Bank of Ireland, and then Google is a really big employer of DCU alum. We can also go a little bit further and we can see what people are doing. So a lot of them are in business development, good chunk in engineering, some in education, and finance and sales as well. This is what they studied, so we can find people who studied accounting or economics. So say you are doing an economics degree and you're trying to figure out, well, what are the jobs that I can do with my economics degree? And you can see, okay, well, people with economics degrees, this is where they work, here's where they work, and better yet, scroll down, here is who they are. So you can see that the people who have graduated with economics degrees from DCU going to these types of roles. So this can give you an idea, like if you are still in university, if you are still in college and you're really unsure, well, what does this degree help me do? What does it qualify me to do? What can I do with this? Use LinkedIn to help you understand that and career map. So I want to remove economics just for the time being because I also want to show you a little bit more. So we've seen what they studied and then we can see what they're skilled at. So this is what people are endorsing people for. So you have that list of skills and people will endorse you, and this is what people have been endorsed for a lot. So Microsoft Office and then things like customer service, social media. So if you want to go by skill set, you could even drill down by skill set. And what's fascinating to me is of over 60,000 people who are connected to DCU, I am only first degree connections with a very small percentage of that. So like I have over 50,000 people that are in my extended network who is just untapped relationships that I can go and build. But 60,000 people is a lot for a Sarah who's in San Francisco and feeling very homesick. So how can we do that? So as you can see here, I can hear like Ireland is the top place where they live, then United Kingdom, and then United States. So I could go into the United States, and this takes a while because it's changing all the results, but like in the United States, most of them are working in tech or consulting, so Google, Microsoft, PwC. But the United States is just such a broad landmass. Again, it doesn't really help me in terms of like building potential in-person connection, which we can do after COVID. But I really want to get to know people who are in my location, who are going to understand the actual cultural nuances of being from Ireland in San Francisco, because that's going to be a very different experience to someone who's in New York, for example. So I can click here and I can do San Francisco Bay Area. And here we go. So you can see all of this here is grayed out, and that's just signaling that this is the filter that's turned on. And with this filter turned on, the results shift a little bit so that you can see the majority of people who are DCU alum who are working in the Bay Area are working in Google, Apple, Oracle, Workday, Genentech, there's a handful, PwC, there's a handful. So this is really, really rich information for networking. And again, you can see what they do, what they studied, and then what they're skilled at, and again, how we're connected. Again, like, this is all untapped people that I can get to know. These 27 people are more than likely people that I connected with from doing the filtering approach that I walked you through in a previous video, which you can go back and check out. Again, scroll down, and here are all the people who are working in the Bay Area. And like, even from doing the filtering approach and this approach, I'm seeing far more people who I didn't see in my filtering approach. Again, a lot of them are software development focused, so if I was still recruiting for software engineers, I would be all over this. This is like a gold mine of people who are local, that I have connection with, that I can reach out to. It's something very personable, and actually get a better response. So this is just gold, and it's so much easier than trying to figure out the Boolean searches or the ands and the ors, and it's just far more visual, it's far more user friendly, and you can just X out of this and you go back to home and you go back to base, and then you can dive a little bit deeper. So say, for example, you want to see everyone who's a DCU alumni who is working at Google, and I keep picking on Google because everyone knows it. So you can see here 225 people in Ireland, 35 in the US, more specifically the Bay Area, Germany, United Kingdom. So if you are a student and you're even thinking of like going abroad, you can see what are the top locations for alumni abroad, and what are the top locations even locally, and what are the roles and teams that are typically hiring from. So like in Google, they're hiring a lot of sales and marketing, and that's probably more from their Dublin office, and like, this is what they studied. So this can really help you provide direction, and I would really advocate and recommend like doing this while you are still studying. So carve out some time, whether you're in third year or final year, and just to start thinking about, okay, this is the degree I'm going to graduate with. What are options that I have? Who are people I can start connecting with? And really start making the most of LinkedIn now, and that's going to put you in a far stronger position when you do enter the job market. And like, if you're already a professional, this is just really good for expanding your professional network. It's really good for initiating conversations. It's really good if, for example, you want to pivot into another career, and you want to understand from people who have been in that career what they've done. Like, say, for example, you've been in economics and you want to pivot to accounting, or you want to pivot to marketing. You might get some people who will be able to help you there as well. So leverage your alumni network, and that's gonna be a low-hanging fruit that you can utilize. And also, if you are a student and you are younger in your professional career, or you're more of a shyer disposition and networking feels really, really awkward for you, you can use this start year as a buffer. So say, for example, I graduated in 2012. In 2012? 2012. No, 2012. Okay, tongue-tied. So I graduated in 2012, and I want to see people who maybe have like 5 years on me. So if I put in 2007 here, I am going to find people who have graduated 5 years ahead of me, all over the world. So again, let me try going to San Francisco Bay Area. These results might be small. Let's see. how many people? There's a handful of people. So rather than like shooting for like the CFOs or the COOs, like it's really good to experience with people who are within a few years of you, so that it's less high stakes and it's less high pressure, and you can really start to get a feel of what it means to reach out in a meaningful way, try out new ideas so that you're comfortable. You know, there can be a balance of being personal and professional, and a balance of like too personal can start to come off as a little bit creepy and maybe a little online stalkerish. So there is a balance there, and I really do recommend keeping track of like what's getting responses, because that's going to help you use patterns and past successes to help fuel future successes, and I'll do a whole video about that later on. But yeah, start off with a safe group of people, so people who've either graduated after you or a few years before you. And then once you start to think about, you know, okay, I want to punch up a little bit, I want to get into a slightly different league, I want to up level, then you can start feeling more confident in reaching out to the C-suites or the VPs or the directors. So you're going above your peer group, and you're starting to network upwards as well as outwards. So that's going to be super helpful as well. And again, this can be done by using the start year and end year to find a cohort that you're going to feel comfortable with first to get your practice, and then start to get a little bit more brave and a little bit more courageous, and start reaching out to more decision makers. So yeah, there's so much that you can do with this. I'm like a kid in a candy store here. I've been playing around with this for a while and I really am just like fascinated with it. So play around with it. Let me know what you think. Ask any questions, like, share, and subscribe. If you are in a job search and you're using this for networking, for example, and you're finding it useful, or you're using it for, you know, figuring out what you want to do next in your career, you know, feel free to share this, because and pay it forward. You know, you've come across this, maybe it's helping you, help your fellow friends and help your peers, and let them know about this information. So you know, it's like scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. Like, share with them so that they can benefit too, and then that's another way to build relationships with people too, especially if you know people are searching and maybe struggling, particularly at this time. So yeah, thank you. I hope this helps, and I will see you again very soon to talk about response rates and how to apply analytics to your networking approaches. So I look forward to that, and I will see you all very soon. Take care. Bye.